Hola, me llamo Jorge Ulloa y soy profesor de español. Esta lista se llama How to Sound Like a Native Spanish Speaker. And from now on, I'm going to speak in English so I can explain exactly what this is about. So basically, what I've decided is to make a number of videos explaining different aspects of Spanish language. To begin with, these are explanations, contrasting and comparing sounds, pointing out exactly how the sound is produced. And again, some students will think it's perhaps too challenging or too much. Others will find it useful, I hope. And what we're going to do is we're going to start from consonant sounds. That's going to be the starting point. When it comes to consonants, I always say this to my students. In general, all consonant sounds in Spanish are softer than in English, except for 4 consonant sounds we make an effort for. The first consonant sound we really make an effort for is ra, as in por favor. Por favor. Okay. The other one that really make an effort, and I think we actually like it, is r, r, in words like arriba or rana. Well, I think we actually, personally I like it. I don't know if all native speakers do, but I like that sound. Something about it, invigorating. Another sound that we make an effort for is that sound that is almost like clearing the throat, as in my name, Jorge, Jose. It could be at the end of the word, reloj, clock or watch. And there is a 4th sound, of course, but this sound only occurs in Spain, in mainland Spain. That sound that's produced between the teeth, same sound as in the word think. And this sound will be in words like zapatos, that's shoes. Could be at the end of the word, Cádiz. Could be in the middle, Zaragoza, and so on. Vowel sounds. Vowel sounds are, it's more a matter of just remembering that in Spanish, vowel sounds shouldn't be a problem. There are only 5 of them. A, E, I, O, U. They're all medium length. So don't worry if it's elongated or shortened, it will not mean anything else. There is, of course, some confusion in some accents between the A and the A, because it seems that in some English accents they are similar, not in the north of England, of course, but I've had students from London perhaps that will find that confusing, and I need to exaggerate. I will say, for example, bread in Spanish is pan, but clock in Spanish is reloj, reloj. So the sound A, E. So that is the starting point. Consonant sounds, which ones to make an effort for. Vowel sounds, only 5 vowel sounds, 12 in English. Then there is 3 things, 3 features of spoken Spanish. One is elision. Elision is mainly the omission of sounds. You know, the typical example I've already mentioned before in all the lessons is this, that we have something like tengo una, but when we speak quickly, it becomes tenguna, tenguna. So that's the elision. That O in tengo was not pronounced at all. And that is something that we native speakers do. Sometimes we deny it, but we do, because we want to speak fast, basically. I think that is the other thing probably all native speakers of all languages do. We want to speak fast. There's something about the rhythm of the language that probably we enjoy, and we sacrifice little sounds along the way. Elision is going to be one of the topics. The lazy bee, one of my favorites. And if you not come across this, Google it or find it on YouTube. Basically, a lazy bee is either a V or a B between two vowels. And because it is between two vowels, then an unusual sound is produced, almost as if someone is drunk. For example, the word for grapes, uvas, uvas. So that V actually sounds strange, almost as if someone is drunk. Again, I'm afraid, if you were to say to a native speaker, just, I'm watching, say it, it might just go and say, uvas, while you're watching. But when he or she speaks naturally without, it won't say uvas, it will say uvas. Quiero uvas, ¿cuánto están las uvas? It's just normal thing to do with the nature of the language. Another word doesn't have to be the V, with the B, as in broad bean, aba, aba. And all those words like I was doing, caminaba, caminaba por el parque, andaba, compraba, cantaba, they all be the same sound. To different degrees, but basically I call it a lazy bee. Finally, linking, that's another one. Students say to me, why do they have long words? The words are too long. The Spanish words are long to begin with. No, trabajamos is we work. But on top of that, there is the linking in Spanish. So the students, los alumnos, but no one will say like that. We link it, so it becomes los alumnos, los alumnos, los alumnos. And if you're not familiar with that, it feels like it's a long word. So, of course, in order to cope with that, you need to start from scratch, to learn vocabulary, grammar, and be exposed to loads and loads of different accents, many native speakers and non-native speakers. I will also be including little tips, things that really will not impede communication, but if you really want to sound like a native speaker, you need to learn tricks. And one trick, for example, is that the word for bread in Spanish is not pan, no, it's pan, pan. So I'll leave you with that to work out the difference. And if you don't understand what the difference is, write to me and I'll give you the answer. And that is, of course, look it up. And this comes under the title pronunciation of the N at the end of words. So this list will include a number of tips to help you to sound more like a native speaker, if that's what you wish to do. The list at the moment only has about 12 videos, but I intend to keep putting more videos on, basically based on my experience. This is my classroom, so I have students here, and sometimes I think that question is interesting, and perhaps it's a question that other students somewhere else in the world are asking themselves, and I think I may as well provide the answer. And this is something I always say to my students, and they all know, is ¿por qué no? Why not? Y eso es todo. Muchas gracias. Hasta pronto.